How many times have you done something with your saltwater aquarium and then found out 5 minutes later somebody could have told you an easier way to do it? This video is full of great tips and things that you wish you had have known before. Hi, I'm Richard from the Beginner's Reef, and I'm here to help you succeed with your saltwater aquarium by providing you with great tips, awesome information and really helpful resources to help you succeed. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And this video is full of great tips, but it's just a small portion of a huge big guide that I created called 150 Things I Wish I'd Known About Reefing. And you can get your copy of it by visiting the link below, and you'll have a great wealth of knowledge to help try and keep your sanity and help keep your reef from disaster. Okay, the first tip I've got for you is don't ever cycle your aquarium with damselfish, and there's several reasons for this. Is your aquarium cycling is toxic to your fish. It's going to go high through nitrates, nitrites and ammonia, and these are all toxic to your fish. Not only is it cruel to your fish, but damsels are the meanest little buggers you can put in an aquarium, especially yellowtail damsels, and they're everywhere in the fish store. If you put 2 damsels in your aquarium to cycle it, then good luck adding any more fish by the time the tank has finished cycling. Those damsels will just chase and kill any fish you add in there because they are very territorial, and because they're the first in there, they'll have taken the entire tank as their home. So you add any more in, they will just destroy them. And then good luck getting those damsels out. They are a pain in the rear end. They are fast, they are clever, and they're very hard to trap. If you put 2 damsels in your tank to cycle it, I can guarantee in 2 months' time you're going to be taking out all of that rock to try and catch those little monsters. So don't go and put damsels in your aquarium. Okay, the next great tip is your aquarium is going to evaporate water. There's no doubt about it. It's 80 degrees Fahrenheit and water is going to evaporate. How much it evaporates depends on the size of the tank, how much surface agitation you've got, but it's going to evaporate water. Now the biggest thing that you need to do is to replace the evaporated water with fresh water only. Do not go putting salt water back into the aquarium, because salt does not evaporate. So as the water evaporates, the salt stays in the tank. So the more water that evaporates, the higher the salinity level will become in your aquarium. So now if you've then gone and poured more salt water back into your aquarium, your salinity level is going to go higher and higher until it reaches a point where it kills all your livestock. So only top off for evaporation with fresh water, and that's fresh RODI water if you can do it. But no salt water, just fresh water to top off for evaporation. This next tip might sound obvious, but it is all about livestock compatibility. There are certain fish and shrimp and crabs that you can't house together. They are just going to either fight or they're going to eat each other. So do a little bit of research before you go and purchase anything. Have a look at fish stocking charts. I've got a great one on the Beginner's Reef website you can find in the link below. But just go and check, can I have this goby with this damsel, or this clownfish with this angelfish? Just go and do your research to make sure that the fish you're going to buy going to live in harmony, because as a beginner you want peace, harmony and the greatest chances of success. And by adding fish that are going to terrorize each other, all you're going to do is possibly promote a bacterial infection or a disease which is going to wipe out your entire population. So check the fish compatibility charts, super easy, and then you can buy the right fish to suit. Another great tip is to learn about different pests and diseases within your aquarium, especially the common ones, because then you can spot them easy and you can then sort out the problem quickly. Aptasia is a common coral pest. and it comes in all the time, and it can soon overtake your tank if you don't know what it looks like and how to deal with it. I see it all the time on the forums. Hey, is this common pest? Do I keep it? Do I not? Find out what it is. Again, go to the Beginner's Reef website. There's lots and lots of articles on pests. So learn to find out what they look like, then how to deal with them if you see them, and for infectious diseases, bacterial infections, learn what to do to treat them, because a lot of the medications are copper based, and copper based will kill any invertebrates or coral that you have in your aquarium. So again, another bit of research, learning about the problems you can be facing in your tank will really help you save your sanity when one of these things crops up, because it will crop up. You will find yourself dealing with aptasia or bubble algae or bryopsis or white spot or ick, and learning about it, you can help prevent it happening. Another tip is to avoid buying big cleanup crew packages from the online retailers and your local retailers. They love to sell you these huge cleanup packages for 75-gallon aquarium, 100-gallon aquarium, and you get like 300 snails and shrimp and crabs, and it's just horrendous. Do not do it. The reason is you go and throw 100 crabs and snails into your tank, and yeah, they're going to clean that thing pristine. But then what's going to happen once all their food source is gone? They're going to die. So once they die, what they're going to do? They're going to break down. They're going to spike your nitrates, your phosphates, your ammonia. Just don't buy the big cleanup crew packages. What I always recommend to beginners is to buy a few here, buy a few there. Just build up your cleanup crew to look after certain problems. So go get some Nazaria snails to help keep your sandbed clean. Go get a couple of turbo snails to chew all over your glass. Get some trochus snails. Go get a couple of small shrimp, like a peppermint shrimp and a cleaner shrimp, but just buy them bit at a time so that they've got food that can keep on growing, and they're not going to starve, because if they starve, they die and they crash your parameters through the roof. So avoid buying the big cleanup crew packages, just do it bit at a time. Another great tip that I got told many years ago is to, when you're doing your research, learn about what things you can't have in your aquarium. So what fish you can't have, what invertebrates you can't have, what corals you can't have, because then it makes it easier when you go to the store. It's like you see these and you're like, no, yes, I can have that one. And it makes it so much easier. So it's a case of just sitting down and going through a plan, looking at all the fish and corals that you want to buy, and then scratching off the ones that you can't. Either your tank is too small, your tank isn't mature enough yet, you're not able to keep your water parameters stable enough yet, you might not be able to have certain corals because you've not got into dosing yet, and you're going to have to be replacing your calcium and alkalinity too often. So it makes it far easier to figure out what things you can't have rather than a huge list of things that you can have. And that really helps. I found that really helpful to know each time you set up a tank, what size is it, what's going in it, what you can't have. And then also what you can't have until later. Like a lot of people want a Mandarin Dragonette, and they want it straight away, and your tank's just not mature enough. So you just say, okay, I can have a Mandarin Dragonette after 18 months, 2 years, when I've got a constant population that I can see cruising around my tank. So you just kind of start to get to know when you can have something, but it stops you buying it previous, and then the fish or coral suffering and dying, and you've just wasted your money. A cool tip that I found about 5 years ago, this was from another reefer, and this one actually saved his house. And we all know that water and electricity do not mix, and especially salt water, it conducts electricity so well, and it can easily create fires if you get a leak and it drips onto a power bar. And what this guy did was he had put a smoke alarm on the underside of his stand in his cabinet. And it was that smoke alarm that saved his house, because he had a pipe blow off and it sprayed straight onto an electrical power bar and it caught fire. And this was at about 6 o'clock in the morning. He heard the smoke alarm going off, he went downstairs and he could see flames coming out the underside of his aquarium stand. Luckily he got a fire extinguisher in the kitchen, so he went and grabbed that, fired it down. Yeah, his tank was his toast. He ended up having a tank crash because of it, because of all the stuff out of the fire extinguisher, but it saved his house. If he hadn't have had a fire extinguisher, that could have been, or a smoke alarm as well, it could have been a really, really nasty event. So ever since then, I've got a smoke alarm right above where my sump is in my filtration room downstairs, and I've also got one under my stand in my aquarium. So they're cheap, they cost nothing, but it can make a huge difference. So go get a smoke alarm and stick it right by all your equipment. Even if you stick it on the back of your stand, anything like that, just to give you first notification that if there's a problem, it could save you and your family's life. So I thought that was one of the best tips. Yeah, $5 for a smoke alarm saved his life. I found out this tip from somebody else's poor misfortune, and it was one that kind of opened my eyes. Like, I've got 2 young kids, they're 5 and they're 7, and this guy unfortunately had his tank explode because his dog was playing with a chew toy in the living room, shaking his head as they do, and the chew toy came loose and shot like a missile straight into his aquarium and burst his tank. It was a horrendous mess. It was a 120-gallon tank. It was about 5 years old. It was beautiful, one of the nicest tanks I've ever seen. And that thing let go and it exploded. Just stuff went everywhere. Luckily nobody was hurt, and we were able to save a lot of his fish and his coral. But yeah, the mess that created was horrendous. Just the sand and the salt water alone, it was a serious mess, and it took a serious amount of persuading his wife to let him reinstall another aquarium, because yeah, it was tough. So this tip is basically just don't let dogs play with toys in your living room or wherever the aquarium is. And the same with kids. Watch with kids. Like my son I've seen him whip a Hot Wheels car off the side of the couch, and I've watched it go straight towards my aquarium. Luckily it's just gone and hit the stand just before, but I was just like, no. So after that, it was just keep an eye on the toys of your kids and your pets, because an exploding aquarium makes a serious mess. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one, but that's another good tip. Not obvious, but it can save you from a lot of mess if that thing explodes. That's just a few of the great tips that I've pulled out from my 150 things I wish I'd known. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. You can get access to even more great videos that I post every single week. Check out the links below because they're all in there. And I'm just going to give you one more final parting tip. And this one is kind of a newish one on me, but it works really, really good. And it is to set up a Wi-Fi camera looking at your aquarium. Now, this one's kind of a really cool one. I used to use it all the time when I went away with work or went away on vacation, but now I've set it up where it permanently looks down the end of my aquarium so I can see it any time. But when you go on vacation, it is awesome because it provides you such peace of mind. You can just log into the app and just boom, you can see into your aquarium and you know everything is good. When I go away, I used to put one facing my aquarium and put one down in my filtration room looking at my sump. They've got night vision on them so you can see them when the lights are all off, and they're awesome. They make such easy peace of mind, and you can pick them up for 35 bucks. I've got an article that you can find in the description below that gives you some really good recommendations for Wi-Fi cameras under 35 bucks, and they're super easy to set up and they provide such good peace of mind. So you can sit there at the bar in Mexico, Hawaii, just, oh yeah, tank's good, turn it off, relax and enjoy your vacation. So that's the last tip I've got for you in this video. So as well as the links below, make sure you definitely hit that subscribe button and check out all the videos. We've got some great stuff that I think you'll really find helpful, and be sure to check out all of our other videos. I've got new ones coming out every week, all designed to try and pass on as much of my knowledge and information to you guys, so that you can hopefully have a bit more of a stress-free journey than what I've had. So yeah, I'll see you next time.